A year made it all seem so far away. The scar on Pole's face was small and fading, but it was enough to remind me of my greater role. I was my brother's keeper. We were a team, a family. I no longer looked away from his face. The sting of shame faded like the scar. I couldn't help but wonder what the year held in store. As we stood near the slashed berry beneath the canopy, Cass had recovered from his laughter and climbed to his feet. "A draw it is, then," Pole agreed, his smile reaching just below the light pink scar on his cheek. "A draw," Corey repeated, though he seemed less than enthusiastic about the idea. He would cool his temper soon enough. "But only this time, yeah? We can't have anyone thinking we've met our match," Cass sneered as he passed by Corey and me. He bent down to pick up a large coil of rope, fitting it snug over his head to rest across his left shoulder. He reached over for another coil before looking back to Corey and me. "Well, are you going to help or just stand there?" "And why would we do that exactly? You two carried it out here on your own well enough, it seems," Corey spat grumpily, even as he reached over to pick up a bundle of rope. "Yes, but it took us all afternoon yesterday to set that up. The looks on your faces were well worth it, though," Pole explained, before pausing for a short laugh. "The sooner we get this rope back, the sooner we can sneak off before anyone asks us to do anything else." "And what's so important that you two can't help prepare for the festival like everyone else?" Corey asked rather impatiently as he struggled to pick up a fourth coil of rope. There was really no need for him to try and carry so much at once, but there was no use in trying to convince him otherwise. "Why, our costumes, of course," Pole exclaimed rather excitedly. "We have to make the finishing touches, work out our body paint, maybe run through the routine a few more times. Things of that nature," Cass explained, his brows raised and head nodding as if to express the importance of his words. "It's a big deal. We will be taking stage in front of the entire village," he finished with a wide gesture, as if he were on stage and opening his arms before a crowded audience. The two of them had been going on about it for what seemed ages in anticipation of their debut at the festival. Whatever they had been practicing was a secret they kept carefully guarded. Not that anyone ever went looking for them when they disappeared for practice. The early afternoons were nice and quiet without them for a bit, and had been for many moons since their approval was met. "Well, it had better be damn good for as much time as you two have put into it," Corey poked. The way he figured it didn't matter what the two had in works. They'd likely treat it as a joke anyhow. He was more concerned that the two of us didn't get pulled into any possible shenanigans. We'd all look like fools on our big night. In truth, we were both eager to see what routine the two had put together. This was to be our last festival as adolescents, and the twin brothers would be performing on the stage of the elders. This was a huge deal to us all, though neither Corey nor I would admit it around the twins. Their egos were menacing enough without our support. The twins had talked their way into performing at the Festival of Harvest. Typically, only adult members of the tribe were allowed the privilege to take the stage at the village center, and only after the approval of the elders. The boys managed to arrange an appearance before the Council of Elders after months of nagging Archon. The elders had been inspired by their appeal and decided to allow them an exception in light of their skill and tenacity. They would be performing a knife-fighting exhibition, no doubt. At first, I had mixed feelings regarding the upcoming performance. I was happy for them and anxious to see their skill displayed before the entire tribe, for Corey and I bragged on our abilities to hold our own against them. This would only boost our reputations as well as that of the twins. Yet, at the same time, I was bitter about it. My mother was renowned for her prowess with a knife, which she exhibited boldly against the most intimidating opponent, my father, Creighton the Mighty. I found myself afraid of what would happen if their performance was better than hers. Would she be forgotten? Would I be forgotten one day as well? Even in my moments of despair, I knew these were foolish thoughts. Thoughts of this nature were not heard among the Divai, so I kept them to myself. Her legacy lived on through the skill of the twins she had so inspired, and through the hearts of her loved ones, through me. My headband was a reminder of that devotion, and I wore it every day. So long as her symbol rested above my brow, she would not be forgotten. I decided I too could live on even after my time had passed, if only I grew to be strong. Perhaps I could grow strong enough to leave my mark not only in the time of my peers, but in the time of our descendants as well. Like the stories told around the fire, someone could tell of my adventures one day. I kept this goal in secrecy, as my motivation to climb to ever greater heights. I would rise to honor her memory, to honor the history of my people. One day, my story would be legend. The twins were reaching for greater heights too, and with the upcoming performance, they were well on their way. I would not allow silly thoughts to narrow my vision, and I did all I could to replace it with pride, knowing Cass and Pole would represent the best of the Divai. You two could tag along, help out if you like. It's still kind of tricky getting into costume, even more so to paint ourselves up. You could have the honor of being our assistants. What do you say, Kael? Pole teased. "No thanks," I replied with a smile. "Not a chance," Corey spat, now loaded down with several hefty bundles of rope. Cass had been delighted to help in this. He approached Corey with another coil to be sent away. "Oi, I've got enough. You can handle the rest, you chuckling buzzards." Cass broke out into another laughing fit as Corey shifted under the weight and began awkwardly hobbling in the direction of the village. Soon he gathered a decent pace beneath him and was well on his way. He was strong as an ox and likely to make the entire distance without a moment's rest. Cass turned to me with a bundle of rope still in hand. "Well, looks like your turn now, Kael." No thanks, I'll take these two, I declined as I picked up a second bundle of rope. I could easily carry twice the weight, but I meant to catch up to Corey and take a few off his hands. But that leaves Cass and me with 3 each. That's an odd distribution. You know we prefer even numbers, Pole teased, already comfortably fitted with 3. Truly the twins knew what I meant to do. Now, no need to get whacked upside the head again, bro. Some of us are a little more scrawny than others. It may not be equal, but it's fair enough. Cass playfully poked at his brother. Fair it is, Pole agreed. Before I fitted the second coil of rope over my shoulder, a barrage of thudding stomps announced someone's hasty arrival. I turned in time to see 2 sticky blue feet come to a stop before me, as a confident young female voice called my attention. Hi, Kael.